Welcome to the Enigma Vault, where history's strangest puzzles and unsolved mysteries are cracked wide open. Today we're digging into one of the weirdest discoveries ever pulled from the Earth. Found in 3 billion-year-old rock, these perfectly shaped metallic spheres defy explanation. Are they ancient artifacts from a lost civilization, or just nature being weird? This is the mystery of the Klerksdorp Spheres. At first glance, they look like something that shouldn't exist. Small, smooth, almost perfectly round objects, some with precise grooves etched around their middles. And here's the twist. They were found in geological layers that are around 3 billion years old. That's older than multicellular life. Way older than humans. So, what exactly are these things? Let's start with what we know. These spheres were discovered in the 1960s and 70s by miners working near the town of Klerksdorp in South Africa. They were digging through deposits of pyrophyllite, a soft sedimentary rock that's been dated to the Archean period, roughly 2.8 to 3 billion years ago. While excavating, they came across hundreds of these strange little objects, most between 1 and 10 centimeters wide. Some were spherical, others a bit flattened or disc-shaped, and a few had 3 parallel grooves running neatly around their equators. Now, depending on who you ask, these grooves are either a simple geological quirk or something far more mysterious. People who believe there's more to the story point to the symmetry and shape of some of the spheres. A few are nearly perfect in form, with distinct banding that looks like it was carved or tooled, far too precise, they say, to have formed naturally. This led to claims that they were artifacts made by an intelligent civilization, or something not of this earth. Add in the fact that the rock surrounding them is billions of years old, and you can see why some thought this was proof of ancient advanced technology, maybe even predating recorded history. Stories circulated. Some say they still appear in fringe documentaries and blog posts, claiming that the spheres had unusual magnetic properties, or that one was placed in a museum display case where it mysteriously rotated on its own, as if powered by something unseen. Others suggested that NASA had examined them and found their structure baffling, so complex it couldn't have formed naturally. But if that all sounds a bit too good to be true, that's because it is. Let's dig into the science for a minute. According to geologists who have studied these spheres in detail, including those from the University of Johannesburg and other South African institutions, they're not artifacts at all. They're what's known as concretions. This is a perfectly natural process that happens when minerals, often iron-rich, slowly accumulate around a small core over millions of years. This build-up creates rounded, layered structures, and they can sometimes become quite symmetrical, especially in stable geological environments. The spheres are mostly made of hematite or goethite, both of which are common iron minerals. These substances can compact and crystallize in ways that create bands or surface grooves, especially if the surrounding rock is soft, like pyrophyllite, which is easily eroded. As for the rotation in the museum story, that came from a 1982 article where a museum curator supposedly claimed that one of the spheres slowly rotated inside its display case. But that story was never verified, and the curator later said it was likely caused by vibrations from nearby foot traffic or movement in the building. Nothing supernatural. And the NASA claim. No such study exists. It's an internet myth, repeated in forums and articles with no credible source. NASA's never officially investigated the spheres, and there's no evidence they were ever studied outside of South Africa by any major scientific body. So what we're left with is a fascinating, naturally occurring geological formation that just happens to look artificial. And that's honestly what makes them so interesting. We're drawn to patterns. Our brains are wired to see design, intention, even faces where there may be none. It's called pareidolia, and it's a big part of why mysteries like the Klerksdorp Spheres catch on. Here's the bottom line. The spheres aren't evidence of an ancient, forgotten civilization. They aren't alien tech, and they aren't defying the laws of physics. But they are a great example of how nature can create shapes and textures that we associate with human design. They also remind us how quickly myths can spread when science takes a back seat to speculation. But just because the mystery has a natural explanation doesn't mean it's any less fascinating. The idea that minerals could spend billions of years forming such strange, beautiful shapes beneath our feet. That's impressive in its own right. So next time you hear someone say the Klerksdorp Spheres are out-of-place artifacts, you'll know the truth. They're not out of place at all. They're right where they belong. They provide a wonderful demonstration of how nature can surprise us, sometimes enough to make us question what we think we know. The deeper we dig, the stranger our past becomes. Are we uncovering forgotten chapters of human history or rewriting the whole book? If this mystery intrigued you, subscribe to the Enigma Vault, where every question leads to another door and every answer only deepens the mystery. Until next time, keep your eyes open, and your mind even more so.